counts if you're at risk or living with lung cancer. And anyone with lungs can get lung cancer. It causes more cancer deaths than breast, colon, and prostate combined. It can feel like a race against time. And while there may be moments where you question your next step, it's essential to know that you don't have to confront lung cancer alone. Through it all, Go-To for Lung Cancer is here for you. From screening, treatment, and survivorship support to finding the right care close to home, we are your community. As your friends, your guides, your teachers, your advocates, and your support system, Go-To is your go-to. Confronting lung cancer starts here. Visit goto.org today.
You gonna get what's coming to you, you son of a bitch.
Dr. McKinney, this is WLEX. Is there anything you have to say about being indicted by a grand jury just a little while ago?
You're not getting out of this, buddy. You're not above the law.
Dr. McKinney, is there anything you'd like to say?
That's what I think. I don't know.
this person.
I will be the last to fall. I won't shed a tear for them to see. I won't have your name to call, 'cause I will be the last to fall.
Well, we bid you a very good evening. It is the last day of July 2024, the 31st. And this has been coming for quite a while. I'm sure that Stace, you'll agree with this. Yesterday in Floyd County and Kentucky and Moorhead, Rowan County, Kentucky, 3 arrests were made in the connection to the murder of Amber Spradlin, which happened in June of 2023. I believe it was June 18th. And those arrests, Dr. Mike McKinney was arrested at the Brick House in Prestonsburg, and another person was arrested at his office who worked with him, and that was Josh Mullins. And then in Rowan County, MK McKinney was arrested. Now today, there was an arraignment at 3 o'clock this afternoon held in the Floyd County Justice Center. Now here's basically the rundown and the short of it that we know for a fact. Bonds were set for MK at $5 million. For Mike McKinney, I believe it was 500,000, if I'm not, or 250,000.
250. Yeah, I remember.
And then for Mullins, I think it was 100,000. Now, unless something's changed, and it may have, but you used to have to post 10% of that bond in order to. So, 10% of $5 million is 500,000. 10% of 250,000, well, that's 25,000, and then, of course, you got 10,000.
Not enough.
We're told, and I've not confirmed it, but I was told that within 30 minutes, McKinney Sr. and Mullins were out, that they had posted the bond. Now, a condition of the bond was that they have to wear a GPS tracker and that they're under house arrest. And if any violation occurs, do not pass go, do not collect $200, it's straight to jail. So that's what we know so far. Of course, you'll be able to hear about this tomorrow morning too on Q95 FM News and the podcast. If you guys aren't checking out the podcast on Q95FM.net, do so. Hosted by yours truly. And we are getting ready I hope Gormy don't hang me for saying this, but we're getting ready to take it from audio to video on Q95fm.net. So yeah, you'll get to see look at this. All this right here is going to be sitting here telling you the news and what the weather is going to be like for the day and all that stuff. But it's really at your convenience. You can watch that stuff when you need to, and that's why we do it. So it's readily accessible to you at any time you have time to either listen to it or hear it. But that is what we know is going on so far. Stace, you made the comment that it wasn't enough. What do you think?
Listen, you know, when they were walking him out there and had him under arrest, and that guy was out there calling him a son of a bitch and all that. I don't know who that guy is, but he's my new best friend. Because I agree.
I think I know who it is, but I'm not sure. I do know that I believe that the person that you heard say that
You ain't above the law.
you ain't above the law. I believe that was Debbie. And
I heard him say that too.
and I think that
God love her.
When I sat across that table almost a year ago now, I guess it was, and talked to them on that episode of the podcast, which to this day is the highest ranked episode we've got. But when my heart broke, and it breaks for every single one of them. When I talked to Sharon about April, the very first one, it broke. I talked to Dwayne's family, Mildred, it broke. It just does. But man, I'm telling you, it was. So, I did message Deb last night and told her that if there was anything that I could do for her, that I would be there. And nobody wins in something like this. Now, we're talking about, everybody's going justice for Amber, justice for Amber. Not quite yet. There's been an arrest made. There's been 3 arrests made. The arraignment hearing has been done. Now, all the arraignment's going to do is said if there's bond and how much the bond is and a few other details that the court has to get out of the way. I do know that there is a judge from Pike County that's actually going to handle this case because the one who would normally handle it in Floyd County recused himself. And it was a very smart move, I think, on his part, because if I'm not mistaken, he may have known some of the family or everybody in Prestonsburg knows this. And this case has hauntingly similar ties, or not ties, but it is hauntingly similar, I should say, to one that happened years ago. You know the name, Merle Baldridge. So we're not there yet, but let's pray that justice is served. And I mean this when I put that up there in the beginning of this. All parties should be considered innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Now, what do I think is going to happen? I don't know. I'm not in the speculation business. But I do know this, and this is a fact. I believe it hardcore. There is no way in heaven or hell that the Kentucky State Police are going to make an arrest in a case this size unless they are certain. Number one, all their ducks are in a row. And this also goes for Commonwealth Attorney Brent Turner. He's not going to pursue this thing unless he knows all the ducks are in a row, the evidence is there, and it's ironclad. Now, this has got to be decided by a jury of their peers. Whether or not that jury is even in place, I don't know, because the grand jury is one thing. A trial jury is something entirely different. I have no idea. But I do know that I think that we can expect to see a lot of motions out of this case. And I think one of the first ones, Stace, that we're going to probably see is a motion for a change of venue. Is that warranted? No, because I don't think so. And I'll tell you why. Because there's no place you can go in the Commonwealth of Kentucky that's not heard of this case. And I think that they are just as likely to get a fair, impartial jury here as they are in Pike County, Rowan County, Fayette County, anywhere else for that matter. I think that you're going to see a lot of legal maneuvering.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you're going to see a lot of there's a word that I like to use for it, and it slips me right now, but basically a lot of legalese going on back and forth that really amounts to kind of a waste of time and maybe a lot of bullshit. I just can't help but think that. But this case is not bullshit. This case is vital. It's important. I think that what we're going to see, and I've had people ask me, well, what would you do had it been your daughter? I want you to look at me real close right here. I love my child. I'd give my life for my child. But I would be the first one to turn her in because she wasn't brought like that. Her grandparents, my mom and dad, didn't teach her to do that. I damn sure didn't. I taught her that for every action that you commit in this life, there's a consequence, be it good or be it bad.
Right.
And when you don't act, you still get that consequence. And typically by not acting, you're living it up to fate. But I've never supported the idea of going out and killing someone. Listen, when Amber was found, the coroner confirmed 11 stabbing, 11 cuts, 11 hashes, whatever you want to call it. She was stabbed 11 times. That is nothing but pure rage. Hell, one would have done it. But no, had to be 10 more. Now, let's make this clear too. The only person standing charged with murder is MK. The other two, Mike and Josh, are charged with complicity to tamper, which is basically trying to hide evidence, destroy evidence, whatever. And I think there were 7 counts each, if I'm not mistaken. I've got a copy of the indictment saved on this thing, but there were like 7, and those guys are charged with indictments, okay, or they're charged with complicity to tamper with evidence. That is a serious charge, but it's not as serious as murder. So there's only one charge with murder, and all 3 have been charged with complicity. All 3, but only one stands accused of murder. That's my understanding. So what we're going to see is a lot of in and outs, and I don't know if they're going to hold 3 separate trials or how this is going to play out, but I can tell you this, we will keep you informed. Now, trying to get into the courthouse today was like trying to get into a brothel on dime night. It was, well, Lloyd can tell you about that, but it was, it was bad. It was, hello, sugar.
Hi.
You are so cute. You really are. It is, this is going to be something that I don't just think Eastern Kentucky is going to have its eyes glued on. I think there's going to be Kentucky is going to be watching this. I think a good part of the nation is going to be watching this. And that is why I say, because people have said, well, what about Krista? Have we forgot about Krista? No, I've not forgot about Krista. Have you? I've not forgot about Candy. Have you?
No.
I've not forgot about April Renee. Have you?
You don't.
You don't forget these people. But the cases in this particular circumstance, the circumstances in this particular case, I should say, were as such that they were able to collect DNA. And everybody's like, 13 and a half months. Oh my God. And I'm sitting here thinking, damn, it ain't Law and Order. This is not NCIS. In the real world, it takes time. Do you realize that these forensic pathologists at the Kentucky State Police and anywhere else in the nation don't get a half of what they deserve to be paid? And they're busting their chops trying to get this thing done because they know what's at stake here. If they screw up, this case lays down and dies. 13 and a half months to make sure that it's ironclad, to make sure that it's airtight, to make sure that whatever defense comes across is going to be shot down. That's a small price to pay, I think. 13 and a half months, it seems like an eternity to a lot of us. And I can't, and look, I can't even imagine what Debbie and Missy and Brandon feel like. And people who knew Amber and loved her. I've yet to find a person say an ill word about that girl. Not a single one. Everybody loved her.
Yeah.
Everybody loved her. So with that being said, we are not there. A big step has been taken in the arrest, but we are not there.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. If they are innocent, I want them acquitted. If they are innocent, I want them acquitted. Because I want who did this thrown under the damn jail.
And then some.
And I'm pretty sure that Amber's family would agree wholeheartedly with that statement. Because this isn't a witch hunt. We're not just going out here saying, well, you know what? You right there, you'll do. Come here. This isn't that. This is who did it. But the big question I got is why? What was the motive? What was the motive?
I can't.
I think that'll come forth to trial. I think that they've probably already got a pretty good idea. I do not. Now, I do know some of the family, and for years have thought the world of them. But I do not know MK. I do not know. I can't imagine what the motive for this would be. 11 times stabbing? What would the motive for this be exactly? It has to be rage driven. I mean, 11 times and they broke the handle of the knife? You don't do that unless you're pissed off beyond recognition, unless you're pissed off. So I don't think that this is just going to be a Floyd, Pike, Johnson, Martin, McGoffin, Lawrence County kind of thing where people are watching. I think it's going to be all 120 counties in Kentucky. West Virginia is going to be watching. Tennessee, Virginia, Ohio. People all over the United States of America are probably going to be watching this trial because, hey, look, Nancy Grace has had this story. Nancy Grace has had it on. Hell, she's worldwide. And other people have too that are far bigger than I am. Okay. The nation, a lot of the nation knows about this. And you can bet yesterday when 3 arrests were made, I can only imagine. You know, I watched some of the press conference at the old courthouse that Debbie spoke on. And man, I'm telling you, there was, God, you just want to hug her. And you just want to say, hey, you know, but there's nothing we can do to make this right. We can't bring Amber back. We can't bring April back. We can't, but what we can do is keep their memories alive. And I really do think that because of the circumstances of this case, that there is going to be a pretty big call for change. And I think that change could be instigated through Amber and what happened to her. And the other things that I'm not going to get into on here, the 911 stuff and all this other thing, because to be quite honest with you, I've researched some of it. I've studied some of it. I've had it on the news, but I really just, I don't know the specifics of everything enough to even form a valid opinion yet. But I do know that when you call 911, you should have access to help as quickly as humanly possible. I think that that is a given in any situation for anybody. And I don't give a damn where you're calling from. You know, if you know, that's why they've got these districts. You know, Prestonsburg is in maybe here. And, you know, if you call 911 from, let's say, Pikeville, you know, that's going to go straight to post 9, I would assume. And if you call from wherever, it'll go to wherever. You know, if you call from Moorhead, it's probably going to go to the post that takes care of Moorhead or the police agency there, the law enforcement agency that takes care of 911 calls there. But we've got these districts set up, and it's just for that reason, so they can get to you as quickly as they can. That didn't happen on June 18th. That didn't happen. Why? Got to ask that question. So with these things being said, Fayette County, Kentucky. I was hoping for a much smoother transition. I didn't just want to walk over and kind of stick my hand up the skirt, so to say. But here we are. Here we are. Hey, how you doing? Here we are with it. You guys know that we have been doing listener-based stories, and I love doing these things because it shows other people it's okay to come forward and talk about these things. Things happen to everybody out here that we can't explain. Stace, you know this better than I do.
Mm-hmm.
But especially where children are concerned and where older people are concerned, the elderly are concerned. That's really who you like to help the most, I believe.
That's what I do.
That's what you do. So with this being said, there was a thing, and we've actually got the person who submitted this story, who is going to come on here tonight and talk with us about her experiences. But before that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you'll sit back, and if you've got somebody close to you, maybe just kind of hold on to their hand kind of tight, because this is a story that it's creepy. It is out there. Don't even get started. Oh, there you go. I was going to say that's acceptable, but Lloyd, you keep your hands. I need at least 6 inches of daylight between you and that young lady, son. So that's something my dad would. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to check out this. It's about 7 minutes, and this really happened. Stacy transcribed it. And what was your feeling when you heard the story, Stace?
Oh my gosh. Whenever she first came to me with everything, it instantly made me sick, gave me chills. You just wait. It's 100% true.
There's a reason I put a TVM or a mature rating. And guys, this is not for kids. Of course, some of what I've said tonight is not for kids, especially some of the topics that we talk about. But, ladies and gentlemen, the farm. Sometimes I wonder if it was only a dream. But then when I fall asleep, I realize that it wasn't. Because things like this don't happen in your dreams. My horrifying experience happened to me. I guess it's been a little over 10 years ago. This happened at an old farmhouse that had sat on this huge farm for over 200 years back in Fayette County, Kentucky. Well, he's my husband now, but then he was my fiance. And we'd been together for some time, and he'd been working as a farmhand and security guard at this huge farm. So they gave him the use of this little historical one-bedroom home on the edge of the property to live in while he worked there for a few days a week. I went over one evening to take dinner to him and just to visit, I soon found out that he had to work very late, so I just decided to take a shower and lay down. It had been a hard day at work and I needed some rest. And before I knew it, I must have needed it pretty bad because I fell asleep laying there in the peaceful and quiet surroundings, just listening to the owls and the crickets. Seems like no time had passed. And all of a sudden, I was lying there wide awake, eyes wide open. I noticed that I was completely awake and aware of everything going on around me, but I could not move my legs, arms, anything. It was like I was completely paralyzed. That's the only way I can describe it. I kept trying to move, but I couldn't. I couldn't believe this was happening. And what was even worse about it was what I heard next. I started hearing heavy claws with long toenails making this noise as they scraped the wood floor. There was something very heavy walking up to the bed. I was frozen and couldn't even look over to see it. Then, I felt its weight slowly climb onto the bed as it had begun crawling up behind me on my left-hand side. Very slowly crawling. My heart sank. I tried to move. How I tried to move, and I couldn't. I'd never felt so helpless and yet so terrified for my life. Then I felt its hot breath hitting my skin on my back and heard its low growls get deeper. When it got up to my neck, I could smell it. Its flaming hot breath smelled like putrid, rotting flesh. The growls coming from it were almost against my face now. I was getting so sick from the smell and from being so horrified. I somehow calmed myself down enough to start saying the Lord's Prayer over and over, again and again. Please God, Saint Michael. Then repeat the Lord's Prayer. Soon after, I could start to feel my legs again, and I couldn't believe it. I could really move, and that's when I jumped up as fast as I possibly could and ran out that door. I got out of the bed, and I tried to get my arms and legs to swing and move as fast as I could. I ran as hard as I could. I didn't stop, not even for my keys, no purse, nothing. I left it all. I ran out of that godforsaken place, where that evil thing had me in its lair, and I never once looked back again. I just kept running. I never looked back. I wouldn't. I couldn't. I just kept running out of the house, out of the driveway, until I found my now husband on the other side of the property, working on a fence. And when I got to him and I told him what had happened, he was shocked. You know, to this day, I'm thankful to God that I wasn't able to look at it at all, because I knew what it was. Not too long after this happened, we found out this thing had also done this to 2 other women. I will never go back to that house. I won't even drive by it ever again. What you just heard was an actual experience written from Sharon Barron's telling of it. It was transcribed by Stacia Underwood Gullett of 606 Paranormal. You know, to some degree, that kind of made my whiskers stand up just a little bit.
Man, hearing that again just brought it all back.
Well, I don't know if we've lost Sharon or not, because I don't see her in the queue, which is what we call a standby feed. I've got a panel over here that shows me everybody that's on the show, and hers is dark. So Sharon, I don't know.
Go back to the link.
Yeah, go back to your link if you need to. And you remember, you may have to allow, again, camera access and permissions, because we would like to talk to you about that.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things that I'd like to do tonight, Stace, though, is when you do the SBS, the Spirit Box session. I know when I put that, there she is. I know when I put that in Patreon, and we just lost her again. You worse than Lloyd. You just standing out all over the place. I'm waiting on Lloyd's little face to pop right over there in the camera just anytime. There it is. But when you do the SBS tonight, to see if maybe, there she is, and make contact with her. So let's go ahead.
Let's get her.
If you like this show, if you like the Mountain Mysteries podcast, which we are going to start back up again, and we've got some interesting information coming up soon about Patreon, the event only for Patreon members, paid members. But if you like these things, I tell you who you can thank for it. You can thank this woman's daughter, April, because she got all this started. Sharon, good morning or good afternoon, good evening. What time is it? Anybody in New York? It's 33 minutes after 9 o'clock. So
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Thank you so much for being on with us tonight. We really appreciate it. I know that you're a busy person. I know that you've got things going on in your life too. But this happened, and I think I messaged you the other day. This happened, you told me, back around 2005-ish. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me, and I'm not going to ask the king mother load of all stupid questions. What did you feel? I know what you felt. Well, I think we made that clear in the video. You were scared out of your mind. But what do you think brought this thing on? Was it already there? Was it something? First off, let me ask you this question so we can just dispel it. Had you been playing around with anything dark?
No.
Okay. What do you think? What purpose does this thing serve for being there? And if it's okay, we're going to switch you into the bigger frame because everybody's seen me enough. We need to see you. There we go. That's better.
I think the house was a portal. Now,
Now you weren't involved in anything paranormal at that time, were you?
no, I didn't meet Stacy until after that when we were I was invited to go on some paranormal investigations with her. But now that I look back on that, I see that this house is probably a portal because it happened in that one room, and the other bedroom always had flies laying around everywhere. And then the other bedroom always stayed ice cold. And I wasn't the only one to ever experience this. You know, there was two other ladies, and one of them just happened to be the person that owned the house and owned the farm. His daughter experienced the same exact thing, and I didn't know about it till years later.
Well, when you asked her or when you confronted her about this, did she act shocked or surprised, or was she like, "Oh, you too"?
Yeah. Oh, you too.
Okay.
No
So
warning, nothing. I mean, gosh.
just out of the blue, this happened.
Yeah.
Now, your story says that you had went to take your then fiance a bite to eat, and he had to work late that evening. So you thought, well, rough day at work. I'm going to stretch out and get me a little bit of sleep, maybe a little bit of rest, R&R. And when you woke up, you couldn't move an inch.
I had worked 16-hour shifts, and I come in, and he had went to work, and he worked on the farm, and I took a shower and laid down to go to sleep, and it's hard for me to go back because it's horrifying.
I understand, and I appreciate your efforts in doing so.
I laid down in the bed, and I turned over on my left side, and I went to sleep, and then.
So take me through this. You managed to calm down just enough to pray to our Heavenly Father, to our Lord and Savior. Do you think that's what broke it?
Yes. Yes.
I would have 100% faith that it did. Because let me tell you something, no matter how strong.
I've got my Bible here with me that I've carried ever since that night. And I've got it in my hands. And as you can see, my hands are shaking because what happened to me was so horrifying. I don't want to ever go through anything like that again.
When you smelled that breath, what was it like?
Oh, gosh. It was right here. Right here. And it was hot. It was burning my skin. And it smelled like dead, rotted flesh. I mean, I'm not talking about burning an animal. I'm talking about dead, rotted human flesh. And it was right here. And I could not move.
Now, Stace, you seem to think that this was a hellhound.
When she first told me about it and how the sound of its nails hitting in the floor when it was coming towards her and the sounds of the growls and all of that, she didn't, and I'm so thankful that she didn't get to turn around and see what was coming at her. But to me, the first thing I pictured was just a horrifyingly looking hellhound. Something that would guard a place, to keep whatever's going on. And it makes so much sense that this place is a type of a portal. It's been there for ages. There's been several accounts of things happen just besides what she's explaining. Some other things have happened. But trust me, it's bad. We can't really talk about all the rest of the things that have happened in this place. But she'll never be back there again.
No.
I
You
remember.
won't even drive near it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember Sharon saying that she wouldn't even drive past it.
No. I mean, I
And
heard
this was in Fayette County?
Yeah, I heard those claws crawling on the floor, like scratching, and then I was turned on my left side, and I felt the bed give, and I felt something crawling up the bed. I mean, if you've ever watched these big snakes just crawl, that's what it felt like, and it got up there to my neck, and I started saying the Lord's Prayer. I started singing Amazing Grace. And I don't know how long it was, but the minute that I felt my legs, I got out of there. I ran. I grabbed my cell phone. I ran. I had my pajamas on. I didn't lock no door, turn no lights on or nothing. I got out of there.
Now, when you got to your fiance then, who is your husband now, and you told him about this, what was his reaction?
He had told me that he had a previous lady staying with him before that told him that something similar like that had happened to her.
So how many people in all would you say this has happened to that you know of? Counting you. So
Three.
So there's Sharon and 2 other people.
Yeah.
Wow. Can you tell me about how old you'd guesstimate the house to have been at that time? I mean, was it an older place?
Years, I'd say. I think we talked about it, a couple hundred years at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
Been on there forever, and that family's had it for
Stacey,
years.
You remember because I got you in my vehicle and took you by it, and I told you that I didn't even want to go out there, but I wanted you to see that house.
Now, Stace, you have gifts. Sensitive. Did you get any kind of a feeling, an odd feeling about that place? Or
As soon as she told me about it, I picked up from her, and it immediately gave me tears. And whenever we were going around the main road, she won't go off any of the roads around the property at all. We went around the main road. She's like, down here, right there, a few hundred feet. That's where it was. That's where it happened. And I'm like, girl, bless your heart.
Well, I'll be honest with you. It sounds to me like a place I'd drive 2 miles around and go up 2 hills, 3 hollers, and go to the end of the earth, take a left, and go 5 more miles just to take a piss before I go there.
Yeah, I mean, until you've really seen something like that, felt something, had something like that, let me tell you what, it rocks your soul.
Some of my best friends in this world are cops, and I've got one on here right now. His name is James Paul Prim. He's a retired police officer, really great guy. And I think he's got a great idea. Send Lloyd. I bet they would love him. Lloyd, any volunteers?
Nope.
There'll be a Tootsie Roll in it for you. I'll tell you
One
what.
dog bar.
I'll throw in 2 pairs of nipple clamps and 3 eagle feathers.
There you go.
Maybe. Now he's considering it. I think it was a Tootsie Roll that did it, to be honest with you. Those things are awesome. Well, Sharon, I am so glad, and I'm not going to ask you to relive any more of that, but there is something else I do want to talk to you about.
Okay.
Do you still have your K2 with you? Okay.
Trained very well by Stacy Underwood.
Nobody knows it any better, I don't believe.
Glad to be a member of 606 Paranormal. Yeah.
I'm an honorary member because she felt sorry for me, and I kept showing up at her house and eating all of her food. So and even Lloyd's over going, damn, he's right. He didn't. Yeah. Do me a favor, and you have now your daughter. I want to talk briefly about April. April's the reason that this whole thing got started. That's how it came. And that moment coming over me when I talk about her. You've got her purse in there
Mhm.
nearby. Do me a favor and take that to her purse.
I'll go get her purse and bring it here.
That'll be fine. That'll be perfectly fine. Thank you very much. Would you do it for a Scooby snack? Charles wants to know, Lloyd, would you do it for a Scooby snack? 2 Scooby snacks.
Scoot over. Scoot over. You don't have to reach.
Yeah. He keeps popping his head in and out like a little weasel or something. There you go. Now everybody can see you.
Yeah, he hits the table and knocked the camera off.
I brought this up kind of inconspicuously, and the reason why is, if all we can do is keep their memories alive. At the beginning of this thing, I said that those that love us never truly leave us, and they don't. And if all we can do is keep their memories alive and keep them out there, I want people to know her name.
Absolutely.
I want people to know who Amber Spradlin
Absolutely.
not only was, but is, because I think that she is still very much a part of our, she's definitely a part of her family's life. April, same way, same thing with Krista Garrett, same thing with Candy Gonzalez, Dwayne Lovelace, the list goes on and on. Now, a lot of people had asked what happened tonight, because we were going to talk about Dwayne Lovelace, and he may very well come up throughout the conversation, but there was some illness and people are getting better. But what we want to do tonight, and when Sharon had submitted this story and Stace told me about it, and she said, look, I'll transcribe it, and because look, I don't have the time. I'm not trying to be a prick about it, but I don't. With everything else going on, and Stace volunteered, and she did a wonderful job. So hats off to you, dear. Hats off to you. You did a wonderful job.
Just doing what Miss Sissy told me there.
And all I did was just sit down and put the elements together and told this story. Now, do you have April's purse? Ah, there it is. I actually remember having that slung over her shoulder. My God, that was like in 1990.
That's how she did it.
18 or not 1889. That's to me. 1989, 1990, something like that. She wasn't that old. She was only 16 when she was murdered.
Little backstory on this purse, guys.
Yes, please.
This was with her the night that she passed away.
The night she was killed. Yeah, the night she was murdered. Yeah.
Yes, and so from time to time, when we do investigations and use our equipment and go around some of her beloved items, we always get the K2 going off on her stuff.
Now, I'm going to ask a really simple question here. April, baby, if you're with us, could you light that thing up for me? It's Chris. A little flash. Stace, maybe you can try it.
Yeah. Hey, Sissy, if you're there, light that thing up for me. We saw you do it before the show.
Yeah, she just did it again.
Wondered if you were still around and could light it up for me. Thank you.
Well.
And her chest of clothes, we actually went over a chest of clothes. It wasn't around any electronics or anything like that. No plug-ins, nothing. It was a cedar chest. We took it in there and it went off also. When we asked her to do it, she would light it up every time.
Yeah.
You remember that? I think I have a video of it too.
Well, Sharon, I know that I have not asked you to do anything easy tonight. You've had to recall one of the most traumatic experiences in your life. And then, of course, I take you out of that and bring you straight into another one with April. Being a mom was not traumatic to her, or traumatic to you, I'm sure, but losing her, you and I talked about this before we went on the air tonight. You don't ever get over something like this. You learn how to cope with it. You learn how to deal with it. You learn how to live through it and exist. And closure, that's a made up word. If you want real justice, then what you get is you get your loved one back. But I do honestly believe that where April is at now, and where Amber's at, and so many others, they probably wouldn't come back here if they could. They may from time to time to check on us and to let us know that they're okay and to not be so sad. Even the Bible tells us to Rejoice at death, for they are with God, and mourn at birth. Completely opposite of what we do, but we as human beings, it's what happens. Sharon, thanks so much for being on with us tonight. I think we lost her anyways. Yeah.
Lose her again.
Yeah.
Shoot.
It's kind of in and out. But do you have the Spirit or the SBS fired up?
We can fire them up.
Okay. And maybe that Ovilus too. Yeah, Sharon did have an interesting picture behind her. And while you're doing that, we'll throw a big hey to everybody in the chat. Yeah, she just said sorry she got disconnected. Well, Sharon, we appreciate you being on tonight. And thanks so much for sharing that story with us. Now, if you've got a story that you would like to share, I've been asked that in the chat room. I see. I've not been paying a whole lot of attention to that tonight, but there are things that you can do. You can email me at themountainmysteries@gmail.com. themountainmysteries@gmail.com. While we get the spirit boxes fired up, what I'd like to do is give you just a little bit of a taste of what you can expect coming up next week. So check this out. Now, when I say in our own backyard, I'm talking about as close by as Johnson County and Floyd County, Kentucky. And anybody that has something that they want to share, and what I do is one per episode, because these things do take time to put together in video form. But I love doing it because I'm getting better at it, I hope, is put these together and tell the story that way. And what we're going to start doing, everything that you've seen so far has been what we call stock footage. It's footage that's available on one of the websites that I use. We're going to start going out and shooting custom footage, which is footage that we've gone out and got ourselves from some of these real locations. But of course, sometimes you run into problems with that because you've got to seek permission for that. So we'll see what happens with it. But again, you can email me at, hang on just a second. Again, you can email me at themountainmysteries@gmail.com, or just send us a request on Facebook and let us know what's going up, and we'll work to get your story out there. So now, here we go. Okay, so let's get started with the spirit box, or the SBS as I call it. I guess it's
really?
Yeah.
I had a big loud boost come over. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I heard that. It was louder than Lloyd at supper time.
Yeah.
I love him. I swear I do. Wait a minute. Have you got a bunny rabbit with skull and crossbones on your hat?
Yeah.
You
That's my psycho bunny.
I don't know why he just doesn't wear a hat.
He's a bad bunny. Bad bunny.
Mm-hmm.
That's because I don't want to scare people with his head.
Said something about hell.
Right.
Well, given the nature of what we've talked about tonight.
Golly, I don't know who that one that was that screamed at me. Because I only had the speaker up so loud. Are you learning how to use this box? Does anybody want to come through and have any messages for anybody in the chat room with us tonight? I know you've heard us talking about Amber. Wedding something. A wedding. Whose wedding? Rhea. Kenneth. Dolls. Something in the cat, his new cat. James Paul said the scariest thing he saw was your head.
I didn't come up with that one. Kind of wish I had it though.
So like I said, hi Lloyd. I swear it did.
I see.
I'll let you know what I just heard. Hi Lloyd. And it's like a really deep voice.
Great.
It knows who you are, Lloyd.
They all
Oh,
do.
it makes you happy.
Especially
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Where the virtue stacks.
What?
All your dolls do.
Did you all hear that?
Hit me again.
Something virtual sex.
Siri.
I'm telling you, it said it, and I know somebody out there heard it too. Lori, I know you heard it. I'm going to have to get off camera here in a minute. Nasty attitude. Helen heard it. See?
Okay, speaking of which, I just got an update. I think Helen had sent me that Debbie Hall had posted and said, update, they are still in jail. And that was, I'm not sure what time. So I'm going to try to find out tomorrow exactly what's going on. But like I said tonight, when I heard that they posted bond, that was unconfirmed. So I will.
Yeah, I thought I heard it. Or
Yeah,
I thought
I
I
will
read
confirm that
that
if whether or not they are.
ankle bracelets on them or something. I heard too. Yeah.
So yeah, but we will make confirmation tomorrow. We hope
Yeah.
so. Well, thank you. Okay.
Something about he cheated something on you. Rachel something entered.
That's what I thought I heard, but I wasn't.
Yeah. Did that say Eddie Neal? Eddie Neal's wife?
Eddie Neal or Eddie Meal?
Eddie and Neal. It said wife.
I'm not sure.
They thank you. Does anybody else want to come through for anybody here with us? William. Okay. Can we answer a question for you? I ain't doing this. I thought it did. I give up. Now we got to keep it PG, folks.
Well, apparently they really don't care about that. I'm not even sure what I think it said. I just know that look on your face and on Lloyd's. So
It said something with the D-I-C-K.
well, you just pretty much spelled that out, didn't you? Okay.
I know everybody heard it. Lori heard it and Helen heard it too.
You
And
guys
Robin
always
heard it too.
words, really. Before long, they'll be talking about going out and drinking and humping the neighbor's cat or something. Lori's right. Someone is in rare form. Yeah.
Yep. James Paul said, yeah, we went right into X-rated. We sure did.
We sure did.
I can tell what everybody's energy is tonight.
We just passed up PG and PG-13 altogether. Threw R out the window.
Because we have to be in unison on our energy, and so everybody's naughty. Not me though. I'm watching. Yep, Cliff, you're right. Several in the bedroom. Oh my.
I think Cliff's got something. Yeah, he's right. He's definitely on the money, I think. Yep.
Gee whiz.
Yeah.
I ain't going there. I'm not repeating it. Can you all please?
What was that?
Tying somebody up. Tying somebody on or up.
Wow.
Okay, can we keep it clean, please? No fun if he's not eating.
Just said.
Oh, shit, I'm going to turn it off.
Boyd.
Did you all hear the last one about eating?
Yeah. Look at what Lori.
You promise?
You got a pretty mouth on you. Oh, wow. It just keeps getting more interesting.
Here we go again. Ghost porn.
He's right. I mean, what is it about these guys? It's, well, right to S&M.
She's using me, he says.
Well, apparently, I mean.
Okay, let's keep it clean.
I'm hearing Rihanna in the background.
How many times? I've got videos. Lord.
Okay, this is great. This could be confirmation.
Oh, okay. Called jail and they are all still in there. Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
Something to do to her. Something they did to her, done to her. Let's see. Barry, are you with us? Genevieve would like to hear from you. We do, Lord. This will be hilarious. Whenever we do a meet and greet, we'll do this.
Oh dear Lord.
Oh. He's a sore loser. Who's a sore loser? Full figure. That's what it sounds like. Well, and sees it's about with their tongue. I'm just, Stacia, I'm not sleeping well. Is there anything you could recommend? I got those. They're like gummies, and they're called Calm. And I take those sometimes at night. They've got that L-theanine in them, and they help you rest. If you're having nightmares, let me tell you something that really helps. I don't know if you ever watch YouTube or get on there like at night and watch ASMR. It really helped me relax a lot. There's a couple really good ones on there that put your mind like at ease before you can go into sleep. It really helped me a lot. Does anybody else want to come through for their family members or friends in the chat room? Stewardess, and she said, I can't look yet. I'm trying to turn that. What was it now?
Since she covered up all the mirrors.
Okay, let's see. I carried up the mirrors in my bedroom and took them completely out Monday. Oh, gotcha.
Sound of Rain helps me too, Lori.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
There's such great ASMR stuff, I'll tell you what.
I tried to do what Lloyd does sometimes. I mean, I'll sit up there and cross my legs Indian style and just ooh, soft.
Art.
Ooh, no,
That's what he
not
does.
hard. Really?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, me.
He said every time he does that, you run him out of the room.
Screen in the corner.
I just
Okay.
do the ooh, soft.
Where you're talking about, Steph, that is where all the dolls are. They're all in the haunted trunk. I brought the haunted trunk in the
Ooh.
office, and I put it down over here on the floor. And then it's got like, what do you say, 10, 15 dolls in it. And I put them all over there. So if you see anything past Lloyd, it's the haunted dolls and the haunted trunk that we had that had the.
Well, Stephanie just said that she saw a
Body.
shadow move behind Lloyd up at the top of the screen on the corner.
Yeah, and there's nobody else in here but us.
Great. Thanks.
Well,
Agnes over there.
oh, Agni. That's your favorite, ain't it?
Stopped her breathing.
That's what I thought she said. Yeah.
Wow.
She's waking up with something over the I don't want to ask her anything personal over.
Now, keep in mind, too, Steph, that left to right, this camera is reverse angled, or it's actually right to left. But it's okay, because either way, once you say from left to right, I automatically know. Well, then it really went from right to left. So, because the camera, its reflection is backwards from what is real. Mine's actually relatively accurate because of the poster thing behind me. Lori said it was clear as a bell.
Okay. Got it. Did y'all see the dolls?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're right there.
And there too.
And what? Something in the sick. Oh, yeah. And then behind me, there's something.
Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, and
Yeah. I love her. She's one of my favorite old film stars, Elsa Lanchester. Did you hear that?
what'd she say?
You heard that from the doll. What is that noise?
I hear the static box. Are you-
Florida? Yeah.
I also hear a low rumble, but I assume that was your HVAC running.
The hell?
We got stuff moving around over here.
Oh, I would imagine it's quite active.
Oh, God.
I don't know.
I would imagine it's quite active.
This one right here is the one that we got movement on the cameras. Her.
Oh, she just moved again.
Come on.
I'm telling you guys.
She did.
No
It was
joke.
ever so slight, but she.
I've got, yeah.
You don't have the little redhead doll. Well, from here it looks like red hair.
That's what she's got.
Yeah, the one right there where the tip of your pin's at. Yeah,
Yep, that's her. We get movement all the time.
yeah, she moved.
It did sound like it. Don't let it out. Steph said she heard, did they see us? And Sharon come back. She said April doesn't like me to show her purse, evidently. Thank you for coming on with us, Sharon. Something her toy, and then it said a name. Like tenant.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
That's what I thought I heard was tenant. Yeah.
Her toy. This is her toy tenant.
The one child.
The one child.
What?
Are you talking about the dolls? Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, Lord, you got to admit, after all the time we were off, you had to have missed this.
No.
Sitting in that place. Is it the trunk that you're talking about? The trunk that the boys came in?
Did you hear that breath in there?
Old men.
Old men, great.
Were they old men, but did they get into the doll somehow? And get shipped over in the trunk?
That would have been Lars and
Tobias, they're behind me.
Okay.
Sydney.
I'm telling you, I'm here whispering and stuff. So I turned that box.
I thought I heard something on your end come through here.
Oh, the microphones are like right here. So gotcha. Is there anything in here with us? Can you talk back in the microphone again right here where they can hear you?
Chuck situation? Chucky situation.
Saul Emerson, 8.
Saw something 8.
I thought it said eights, like eights and aces.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like a dead
Eights
man's
and
hand.
eights, that's a dead man's hand.
That's what it said.
Great.
I got a bunch of buddies who have those tattooed on their Harleys. Or not tattooed, but custom.
Yeah.
Eights and eights hand.
Low tone voice speaking close to the mic.
Yeah, that's what I thought I heard too. Taylor said that, yeah.
Okay. I'm going to push the mic back a little bit. Can you come up and say something else in the mic?
Torso cats. Toggle relief.
Grace, I believe I've found a place to put those dolls or have them blessed or
I
something.
heard a woman, like a woman's whisper. Yeah.
She said ever since she's got them all, she's had bad luck. I said, Lloyd probably knows something about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Wayne was something.
I couldn't make it out here.
Something like Wayne was with the animals and came through there. I hear it so fast sometimes I can't process it. Eating. What? They should hang them.
Wow.
Sounds good to me.
And there that is.
We don't even have to say who that's aimed at.
Let me tell you something. They know more about what's going on over here than we do.
For
By
real.
far. By far. By far. I mean, if I could ask them one sincere question, it would be how this is going to play out.
It sounded like the whisper said, oh shit. Wow. I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing any kind of whispers anymore. He's a cunt. Did you hear that? He is a C word. Who is a C word? Wow. Something Aaron. Sharon.
Teresa, honey, don't burn those dolls. Don't. When you're setting it free, you're setting it loose. Stace, how would you handle that?
What was it?
She's got some dolls that have brought her a lot of bad luck. 2 of them, I think she said. She said that she's about to burn them.
Yeah. The best way to do it, there's a couple different ways to do it. You need to get them blessed. Then there's a few things you can do.
Yeah.
Ryu. Twist Ava.
Yeah, Sharon said that she's about to be a great grandma any minute.
Oh, yeah. Her
I did not know.
grandsons and his wife getting ready to have a baby.
I did not know that. Congratulations. How would that work, Stace? Could you put the doll in a circle of salt or dolls?
It just, what works is what you believe in and what you really believe will work when it comes to.
So your faith has a huge factor in it.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It does. And what I do is I have them blessed, and then I have like a little ceremony that I've always done.
Mm-hmm.
It works, and it has worked for me. And I always just, I get the blessings first because that's the first thing that I believe you should do.
Or you could always call Lloyd Gully. He will come and pick them up and take them himself.
You don't mind to go pick them up, do you?
No.
I mean, we've been told that he and Reagan have had relations.
She's over here too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wherever he goes, she goes.
She's picking around the side over there, watching him.
Chris got to carry her though.
She's looking at Lloyd.
He did carry her. He did.
Yeah, I did.
And they were blessed before he touched them.
Yes, they were, and I will not unless Stace says it's okay to do so.
Yeah, I absolutely won't take any chances when I take them to the doll tours and stuff. I will not take any chances. They're all blessed.
That's why I had no problem with going out there and picking it up. I knew that you had already, because I knew if I was getting ready to get into something I couldn't handle, you were going to say, no.
Yeah.
Stop me dead in my track.
Right. I mean, I actually had one call I went to last week where I didn't take the doll.
Mm-hmm. That bad?
Yeah. Bad enough to where I can't bring it here. I helped her, but I couldn't bring it here. It was that bad, really. With everything going on and stuff. Mm-mm.
Yeah, Jenny asked a really good question. Where's Enzo at tonight?
Passed out on the couch.
Oh. Did he get his belly full?
He lays on his back with all of his feet up in the air, and then Beanie Weenie's beside of him, wadded up in the cover. So all you can see is her little face sticking out.
Boy, those dogs have a good life. Yeah, they really do have a good life. Yeah,
they're good babies.
Well, yeah, of course. I love them pups. I love animals, though.
Yeah, he's passed out. I would shine the. I don't have any light over there. Does anybody else want to come through before we close? Girls, the girls do.
Oh, we'd love to have them come through.
You too. If anybody wants to come through before I close, now's the time to do it. Ask somebody. Where is the Said something mangled in hair. I said it.
Yes.
And she said you're strong. Thank you all for coming through for us tonight. We appreciate you. What's that? Let me see.
How may you able to procure? Animals.
Ambulance.
See quite a bit of those quite often. So
Yeah, for sure.
You.
I'll leave it on low in case anybody else comes through important. Sound like it said 2 something in the judge.
naturally, going tonight's topic of conversation, I can't help but wonder if what they're talking about is Amber and what's going on around.
Yeah.
You know, what happened yesterday was a very big step. That was a very big step, what happened yesterday with the arrests.
It really was.
And then the arraignment. Now, like I said, it was a big step, quite possibly the first step. And, well, it is the first step in getting justice, the arrest.
For sure.
Catching up on our chats, which a lot of them are coming in. Well, he keeps looking back right to where I saw the shadow. What is this? Lloyd keeps looking right back where I saw the shadow to his right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, if anybody wants to come and talk into the microphone, be sure and do that now. We can really hear you.
Be nobody but you.
I haven't seen Enzo moving.
You hear that? It's like footsteps or a thumping. It's not the HVAC either. I know what an HVAC sounds like. That's not it. An HVAC is constant. This is random. And it's on your end, not mine.
Okay.
Great.
Be Lloyd's luck, it's a mandingo.
Oh,
Thanks for joining us. Yeah.
Yeah, you're quite welcome, Sharon. So let's talk a little bit about our Patreon thing. Stace had the idea, and it never occurred to me that we go on. What was it you were thinking? Like an hour before the gatherings?
Yeah. Warm it up.
Warm it up, and this will just strictly be for paid Patreon members, whether it's a $3, $5, or $10 tier. And we do very much what we do now. It'll be a little more interactive, as much as it can be. Found out about please keep her. I love what Christina says here. She says, I've missed most of this just because I found out about Amber. Please keep her loved ones in your thoughts. I am gutted to hear the pain. Please pray they stay with us. Yeah. Thanks, Chris. That's pretty awesome. But anyways, we would be doing this just for the guys, for, like I said, for our Patreon members, about an hour before the gatherings, and you get some insight on what's coming up. And you probably, no doubt, be a part of some inside jokes, especially if Lloyd's going to be in there. And he will be. Lloyd is a part of this thing. Stace and I get into topics of conversation sometimes that are heart wrenching, gut wrenching, and Lloyd kind of helps alleviate that. He reminds us we're still alive and we need to smile. And if it weren't for him, I'm not so good at that. And Stace is really good at what she does, but what she and I do are different from what he does. I guess what I'm saying is he's a blessing.
Aw, thanks.
Shut up.
You too.
So anyway, but it takes all three of us to make this thing to what it is. It does. But
Oh,
right
Charlie, I hate to hear that. Did you see that?
my son Cameron has been missing for 2 years now.
Oh no.
Leeds. Good God, man. I did not know that.
Hate to hear that, Charlie.
If there's something we can do to help Charlie, just email me. Shoot me an email, man. Ah, looky here. I love Kim. She's just so cool.
And she's right.
Yeah. Yeah, he is rotten, but that's okay. He's allowed to be. So he's just not as cute as Enzo. But Enzo can be rotten too. Enzo's perfectly allowed. And Enzo knows when something's going on. He knows when something's there and around.
He does.
He does.
He scares me sometimes.
Yeah, and Lori, I think, is right. Smiles and laughs are important, which brings me to my next point.
That's true.
Every one of us is going through something that nobody else knows about. And we don't choose, or we choose not to tell people about it a lot of times because, being a guy, we just automatically think nobody really gives a damn. So I just keep it to myself. I don't think that's necessarily true. So if you feel like nobody cares, that's not necessarily true. People do care. And if you feel like you're not worth it, that is so not true. You are. If you're here, God's got a reason for you to be here. It's that simple. I've said that a million times. So don't give up on yourself. And don't give up on the people that care about you and love you, because every single person is needed and wanted by someone, somewhere. And you have no idea what kind of an impact you're going to make 5, 10, 15 years from now. Even if you're not around. Look at April. She was taken from us. Look at the change she's made. Look at Amber, the changes she's making. It goes on and on and on. It ripples throughout eternity. Choose to be that force for good. And as women, we think that we don't want to burden anybody. That's what Lori said. We are praying for the families, Christina. No doubt about it. But I think yesterday was a big step. And I can tell you that I think that Debbie was pretty grateful, and as far as things are right now, very happy about the progress that's been made and that is being made. I would like to think that. I spoke to her via chat briefly, just very briefly yesterday, and she seemed like she was in pretty good spirits. Let's see here. Very true, Chris. By the way, your girl over here is a therapist accepting new patients. Britta, I may take you up on that. You have a field day with me, I think. You get Lloyd and I together. Oh, yeah. It'd be, yeah. Look at him. He's like, oh, that's an idea. Yeah. I'd smile a lot more if you gave me that Beatles box set. Lloyd?
Nope.
That ain't going on. You might as well get him to give up that F-150 or 250 or whatever it is. Yeah, it ain't. No. You'd be just as likely, bro. So it's, Britta, I did not know you were a therapist. Congratulations on that. And that's something that really does help people. I think that people that seek therapy are very, very brave. I do. It takes more courage to seek help than it does to sit there and go through it alone.
Yeah.
I told my daughter the same thing. So it's, but no, I'm serious, Britta. You get Lloyd and I to get, no, it wouldn't, no. I'd hate to see that bill just for like 10 minutes. Lord have mercy. Oh, so anyways, I guess we'll wrap it up tonight. And I'm thinking that we may be starting the gathering or the pre-gatherings, whatever you want to call it, sometime around what is the 14th or 15th of this month, perhaps of August coming. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay. So on Wednesday, it would either be the 3rd, 10th, 17th, 24th, 31st. So I'm thinking maybe around the 10th or 17th, Stace.
Sounds good.
Gives us time to get things ready for it. And we do want to hear your stories. So look, if you've got one that you want to share, you can remain anonymous, by the way. All you got to do is at the beginning of it say, Chris, I give you permission to use this, but I want to remain anonymous. That's perfectly fine. And what I'll do is I'll just say one of our viewers.
Yeah.
And if you want your name out there, I'll make you famous. So we'll put you up in lights. That's fine because you guys went through this stuff. You guys, Britta said she might have to get herself a therapist after that session. You may have to. Love her heart. Yeah, you may have to. But we do want to hear your stories. And like I said, if you're enjoying what we're doing so far, don't be afraid to let us know. And if you would like to see it a little different, like I said, I want to make it better. I want to make it more personalized. But at the moment, what we're doing right now is the plate footage, but that is going to change as soon as I figure out how to operate some of these big cameras. So that's where I'm going to get Lloyd down here to help me and Stace. After all, Stace has got to keep us both in line. So, okay. So with that being said, girl, I love you, Lloyd. Same
Love
to
you.
You guys have a wonderful night. And remember, next Wednesday, we are going to talk a little bit more about messing with Sasquatch. I'm not actually.
That's another one. Lord.
And by the way, your stories can be about anything from hauntings, which has been what they've been so far, or they can be about Bigfoot or whatever you want to call them, or they can be about anything paranormal. Because I just make these things and Stace gets the feel about them and I kind of pulled my vibes from her and we just go from there. And anyways, we would love to hear from you. So, but until next Wednesday night at 9:00, we hope that you have a wonderful night. Stay safe. And as always, stay mysterious. Good night, everyone.
Bye, guys.